Welcome to the Back to the Future Episode 1 DVD commentary track. I'm Mike Stemley, designer.
I'm J.D. Straw. I'm another designer.
I'm Dennis Lennart. I directed the episode.
I'm Andy Hartzell. I'm another designer.
Eric Parsons, a cinematic artist.
Peter Sakel, animator.
I'm Randy Tudor, lead programmer.
And what we're looking at right now is the wonderful and insane prologue. We spent a long time coming up with a very, very complicated prologue for a while, which involved a whole bunch of docs doing a whole bunch of weird things.
Which I rewrote 3 times.
And then we said...
It got better each time.
And then we said, hey, we should do the really cool, obvious opening. That would be even better and would get people really excited about coming on in with the actual first time-traveling scene from the movie.
And it took me a very long time. I think only now am I finally coming around to appreciating the wisdom of the decision. I don't know if I will ever fully appreciate it.
Once we realized we wanted to do something like this, we realized that in order to make it really, really cool, we'd do it from the perspective of the video camera that Marty turns on in this scene. And it made it, very, very different and wonderful.
You know, I laid out the first pass of the characters' positions and the camera work on this, and I immediately realized you cheat position a lot when you make a film.
Yeah.
And you can't cheat it anymore when you do it through the video camera. So, thank you.
Yay.
So then we decided, well, we won't make the whole thing in black and white. We'll make part of it in color. So.
Myas and Torsten did a lot of really awesome stuff on this sequence to make it. It's tough when you're trying to replicate the movie because obviously everyone knows what that looks like, and now we're trying to take our stylized characters. But I think they ended up doing a really good job.
Myas and Torsten are exchange choreographers from Germany. Who this was their their first big chance to. Well, no, they did a lot of work on Cinemax.
Yeah. But this is definitely a dream come true for them too.
Yeah, much like both Back to the Future fans.
Quite a bit.
Myas is a huge Back to the Future fan as well.
I think what's good about this sequence is it really showcases a lot of the elements that we tried very hard to stay faithful to the license. Everything from the car to the mall to the outfits to Doc's truck to Einstein. We and it ended in Marty's bedroom. There was a lot of effort that went into Marty's bedroom.
Although apparently
Guybrush on the back.
Apparently Guybrush 3 print starred in Weird Science.
Yeah.
I don't know what that all is about.
And Doc was there.
Yeah, I like this opening just for the idea that we kind of really remind fans that we've seen the movies a million times and our attention to detail is there, and kind of having play out similar to the actual film and then do the little twist there. It's just kind of a fun.
It's such a careful balance trying to decide how much of the movies we expected our audience to actually watch and remember, and then how much new stuff we wanted to give them, new characterizations.
Seems like a good time to talk about how AJ Lucchesi, who is absurdly great as Marty.
Is there anyone who doesn't know the story of AJ Lucchesi at this point? Is there anyone in America who doesn't know?
Yeah. Would you like to tell it for everyone?
Well, when we were looking for somebody to voice Marty McFly, we put out the casting call, and A.J. Lucchesi heard about it from his friends. He was a recent graduate from film school in New York, had really no experience in the industry, but was known in a circle of friends for his uncanny Marty McFly impersonation, and he was convinced. He was just moving to the West Coast from the East Coast. His friends convinced him to turn in an audition, and he nailed it. I don't know where we would have been without him.
Yeah, he definitely embodied the 17-year-old Marty voice perfectly. And I was actually just gonna we sort of missed it, but Brian Gillies modeling the little mind reading helmet / beer helmet was the total sort of typical Telltale late night random idea, and then Brian saying like, "Yeah, that's funny. I'll come in on the weekend and do that."
And do you want to talk about Einstein, Mike?
Oh, the dog. Actually, that was one of the things very early on. We get latched onto the idea of, yeah, maybe he opens the door and the dog's in there, between us and Bob Gale, who came in and helped a lot on story consulting.
And Bob Gale, one of his principles early on was you got to have the dog in there because people who like dogs are good and people who don't like dogs are bad. And
I'm a cat person.
but we all know you're bad. But at one point we polled a playtest audience for who their favorite character was, and I don't remember which episode it was, but I don't know. But Einstein, I think, won. Maybe Marty won and Einstein was second. I don't remember.
Getting a little bit of skateboarding in there.
Yeah.
I always wish there was more.
Yeah.
We kept trying to put it in, and it kept getting cut.
There's no time.
This is Rebecca Schweitzer as old Edna. You may remember her as Mole Girl.
From Sam Max season 3.
This might be a good point to just talk about the 80s, which we're almost we've almost left the 80s already. But originally, we were going to be spending a lot more time in the 80s. In fact, I think our entire first episode was set in the 80s. We had a couple of characters who we had to cut, and most regrettably, Tiff Tannen, the hot young punk.
Oh, we'll get to talk about her in episode 3, though.
Yeah. But Edna, the old version of Edna went through a number of revisions to get her less scary.
She's still pretty scary.
She's still pretty scary. But making her actually fit within the license was a little tricky, because even though Back to the Future is a broad license character-wise, she was almost a little too broad initially. But I think we finally hit a decent spot with her.
The suspect.
One thing,
the arson case.
a quick bit going back to AJ. I remember one of my favorite times recording on this was the first day of recording with AJ, and he came in, and he was super excited to be there. Never worked on a project this big. Huge Back to the Future fan, and 20 minutes in, we're recording the voice, trying to find it, and he was nailing all these lines. And at one point in the middle of a take, he just stopped and started laughing, and all of us were like, "Whoa, no, what happened? What? It's cut. Sorry, what's going on?" And he was like, "I'm sorry. I can't believe I'm doing this. This is like a dream come true." And it was a really cool moment. And then he's like, "Sorry, I'm moving on," and then just went back in and did like some crazy session where we nailed most of it. It's good.
Oh, so I want to say that the scene that's coming up now, this was kind of my benchmark for the production, where I kept coming back to watch the jumping through time scene and see it evolve, and it was just the sound effects, the effects, everything that came together were so awesome.
My uniform. Didn't
And
I tell you?
it took a long time trying to get our effects right for the DeLorean. It's probably, I think it may be the first time where we've had to actually seriously ape an existing movie's effects and get it right.
We were given access to original sound effects from the original movie, which was great. But there's nine different special effects on the DeLorean for the time jump. Maybe it's more than that.
Yeah, from the flames to the little pew pew pews coming out to the stuff going around.
I love this part. And I would just load games just to watch the loading animation.
Yeah, calling out Michael Peretta.
Yes, definitely. Good job.
For like 3 weeks.
Knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
And the music.
And Eric Parsons on this cutscene.
Oh, thanks.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes, good job.
Which I think storyboarded out and everything.
Yeah. The first time this one came together with music and effects and everything, I finally believed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was fun giving that to you, and we're just like, okay, this has to be the best thing in the entire series.
Yeah.
Good luck.
And you didn't see me for months.
Yeah.
And here our first, whoa, that's so beautiful. Our first experience with Danny Parker as his life starts going to hell.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm really happy that we got him in here and we didn't didn't mention him. It was just kind of a subtle thing.
Yeah.
I'm happy with that.
I like how he just starts shooting at.
Yeah, that's what happens to Marty.
Things were different in the 30s.
He's drunk and disheveled there already, right? At this point.
Yeah, look how much he's swerving. Of course.
I love how he just causes a car accident and
Yeah.
he's like, whatever. He's probably fine.
And
was shooting at
using it Back to the Future
Marty's used to
trope.
it.
We will hide the car behind a billboard because that's what you do.
Yes.
in
That's
NFL.
flawless security.
And here's the iconic shot of town, which we also put a lot of work into.
Yeah. I sort of realized very quickly that this set was a pain in the tuchus.
It was, yeah.
Big.
In every episode that it was in, it was nearly killing our engine.
And finding things to do here was always challenging, but we always knew it had to be a centerpiece for each episode.
Getting the cameras right for every episode. We had to go back and do it again every time.
Right, because it couldn't look the same
No,
every
no.
episode.
Yeah.
What's playing at the theater?
Question.
Is it?
I think it's always Frankenstein.
It's
don't think
always
it is.
Frankenstein.
It
No, I
looks
see
like
a
something else.
Frankenstein in there.
Who? Me?
This is Shannon Nicholson. Her first first time she's voiced a character for Telltale. I think it's the first time she's done voiceover. She did
About it, yeah.
a very good job.
Carl Sagan, the stranger who single-handedly did what
There
the law
are any number of little gags in here that
namely,
you have to be really carefully looking for to notice.
I know it's just an etiquette column, but I
The shave and haircut one bit.
No, down, boy.
Einstein doesn't like her. This is a clue, people.
dogs must be kept on leash at all times. It's the law. Look it up.
She's a vampire.
She's a
That's why she didn't. She had no reflection in the barber shop. See, that's
How did
you
that
know.
shark sign end up in there?
Yeah.
It wasn't in there until like the very end of the first
we
episode.
realized we need to pepper the town with more things that were evocative of the original movies.
Because we don't have enough references to the original
Yeah,
movies.
so we needed a movie called a movie like Jaws, the 3D version from the future. So we just called it Shark. There's Doc
In 1D, I think.
Doc,
Actual real sharks.
the actual real meeting of Marty and Doc again, who's now calling himself Carl Sagan in one of the.
So should we talk about Christopher Lloyd here? Or
Yeah,
what
we
is there
should
to say
talk about Christopher Lloyd a lot.
We're all very happy that we got to work with Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. That was a terrifying story. The first session when we were down there, and like he was super cool, totally up for the character, jumped right back into it. But like halfway through recording, Bob Gale showed up, which for me as a huge Back to the Future nerd was super intimidating, and he just came and sat right behind me in the studio. And we were like directing Christopher Lloyd, redoing the mall stuff, so it's like stuff they'd already done 25 years ago. That was pretty intimidating.
No pressure.
Yeah, no pressure. Director boy.
Who do you think you are?
So yeah, Doc is going by Carl Sagan in this because of the old running gag in the movies of them choosing pseudonyms that are real people. And if the not ghost of Carl Sagan is out there someplace, I'm very sorry. But we just fell in love with that.
Thought I
He'd be honored to be in this.
Yeah,
But he'd be very surprised to be a ghost.
yeah, that's true. That's what I was saying. The not ghost. Kid.
shut it. If one of those subpoenas.
We spent a lot of time trying to get this scene to look very much like the scene, again, that we are riffing on in the malt shop with a tannin and one of Marty's ancestors.
In fact, this was, I remember just early on in the design process, as being something where I think it was Dennis, was like, we've got to have a soup kitchen, right?
Yeah.
We've got to have, and in fact, it was not in the budget to have a diner, basically, at one point, and Dennis just burst into the producer's office and grabbed him by the lapels and said, "There's gonna be a diner in this. You got it?"
I think I got too angry about that one.
But we were so
then,
thrilled.
You know, and that was the other thing too, is then we were like, okay, we can have a diner, but it's on the other side of town. I was like, it's got to be in the same spot.
place,
Yeah. We got it. That's good.
You really need young Emmett.
Emmett. The Emmett Marty walk and talk.
Yes.
Lean forward for
All right, well,
Telltale.
we'll give Randy the floor here and let him talk about the Emmett Marty walk and talk.
What are we talking about? We experimented with a new style of gameplay, basically, where you're in a dialogue and following behind Emmett, which creates all sorts of problems. We were fixing bugs on just this last little bit in the game, and right until the last minute, it was probably the most expensive puzzle we did in the entire
It's a
season.
dialogue puzzle.
Yeah.
But you know what? It was a great, it's a great scene.
Yeah, it's something different that we tried to do, having a moving character that you could jump into at any point in his loop and have a number of things that you can do with him.
And it kind of established the character and the relationship between the characters, which is so essential to the whole season. And the character, just his distracted, always on the move sort of personality.
It's like, to me, like the Doc Marty relationship, like Doc in the movies is always the frantic walking around, and Marty's always trying to catch up, and so it seemed perfect to introduce young Emmett with the same kind of mechanic.
Kitchen yelling at Arthur McFly. I'm not surprised.
And that gets to the whole thing about the season. Very early on, we realized we wanted to totally topsy-turvy most of the relationship. We wanted, a Marty who's been through time, several times now, who's kind of a little more mature, having to deal with, this young Emmett Brown who's, this gawky teenager. A Flibberty Gibbet, teenager who hasn't quite figured out what he wants to do in life and has got all these pressures to do something else with his life. Making this critical decision, where for Marty's dad, it's I got to kiss the girl. For young Emmett, it's I got to kiss science at some point.
And that's actually part of what got me to work on this. In the beginning, when I heard there was rumors that we might do a Back to the Future game, I was terrified because it's a huge part of my childhood. And it was actually when, Mike, you came by my desk one day and you were like, so what if we get to meet Emmett when he's young, and what if there's a possibility he doesn't go into science because of something you do? And I was like, oh, I'm so in.
So this peanut puzzle,
God!
It gave us, that's one of the things I blocked out. I know it gave us troubles, but I do not know what
there
those
was
troubles
shoe
were.
polish.
There was shoe polish
involved.
It was a more involved puzzle.
Yeah, so we cut it down to nothing, and that was wise.
What the hell is that?
That's why those peanuts are in the hat there.
Originally, Kid Tannen might have ended up in blackface at some point.
No, I don't think he would have ever ended up in blackface. But there was also something that you were getting, some ingredient from the diner that he hated, and then you put it. I don't know. It was a hot anyway.
And you had to smell it on Emmett's breath.
Yeah, that's right. You had to smell it on Emmett's breath.
Marmalade.
That's it.
Convoluted, to say the least.
Yes.
In a good way. In a way.
It started off as a more classic adventure game style puzzle and turned into something a little more dynamic.
Yeah, which this was kind of par for the course for this series.
They used to call me.
Well, we've been mentioning, calling out some of our voice actors. James Arnold Taylor as young Emmett Brown is awesome.
So good.
He is awesome.
Yeah, he's perfect. I was super scared about Emmett's voice going in, and then as soon as he started workshopping it, he pretty much came in with it, and it was like, oh, that is perfect.
And we got no idea what he looks like, right?
I know what it looks like. I've seen him online.
You have?
Yeah.
Okay. Does he look like Emmett?
Not really.
He's down in Santa Barbara, so we dealt with him over the phone.
This is a puzzle that worked.
Yes. I love this puzzle.
This is a puzzle we honed down to a nice fine fettle. It's one of those situations where if you just keep talking and show people how it's going to work, it eventually comes around.
And it's difficult in games like this to have puzzles where two characters are working together on a goal, where you are working with someone else. But we really needed a moment where Marty and Emmett were collaborating on something. So this is just one of those rare kinds of puzzles where that kind of dynamic really works.
Yeah. And it is tricky because one of the things we kept bumping our heads against all through the season is Emmett's smart. And so in any situation where, he and Marty are together, he should be able to tell you exactly what you need to do, and then you just have to do it, unless there's a reason, as in this puzzle, where he can't tell you exactly what to do.
The last train for DC leaves in just a few minutes.
It's okay for Marty to be a little dumb, but Doc really shouldn't.
Yes.
Exactly.
And I mean, we maybe very briefly considered a game where we were occasionally playing Doc, but we pretty much from the beginning knew that we were going to be Marty all the way, because he's the hero.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. Marty's the guy who fixes
The patent office.
his life, his parents' life, and Doc's life.
I lied to you.
And this is the scene that if you don't cry, you're not human.
Very important.
I call out Nick Herman on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was on another project at the time, but we pulled him over to do this, and I'm extremely glad. Yeah, it's heartbreaking with because you kind of come to really like Emmett by this point, and kind of betraying him.
Yeah.
I'll get it back to you. I promise.
Marty is behaving a bit like a
And
jerk.
Emmett,
But he's
you're gonna
17.
be a great inventor.
Is he going to slug him?
No, much later for that. Yeah.
The cart.
The throttle at about 8.
So we had to build that cart because we couldn't figure out any way for Marty to carry that thing around.
Yeah. It's like,
Right.
we're still not entirely sure, so I've already dragged it a long way to get here. Yeah. And then because none of Emmett's inventions really work.
Yeah.
I'm still just not sure what a rocket-powered drill,
Drill is, or a jet power drill for that matter,
whichever
which is
one would you-
you know.
Rocket power drill.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, that's painful.
Yeah, that's gonna hurt.
You're too late.
Too late. The Doc's not
Some
supposed
tough
to be.
ID on that wall.
Yeah.
Well, really, I mean, it didn't matter what was powering the drill. It needed to get on the bike. That was the
That
whole
was-
purpose.
yeah,
That's right.
That's right.
Everything leads up to this.
Everything is up to this, which is the other big sequence.
I was so glad that we managed to keep the action
Yeah.
close to the way we designed it for this sequence.
Yeah.
At great cost.
Oh yeah.
Partially being
It's so
Personal
worth it.
sanity.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were definitely some tough sells
Yeah.
in this
the bike from the
sequence.
truck.
Truck.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a bike. Shouldn't the? Yeah.
Danger, Doc. I've got
Yeah, you don't think about it too hard.
No.
You just
Yeah, that was the fun part, jumping in, like when I got on and started like, all right, cool, let's talk to Pete, figure out the animation and all this, and then we're like, wait, how is the bike on the truck? Wait, what's happening?
Yeah, I don't know yet. Just, I don't know.
Just like that. Yes.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah. We
the
definitely.
human bridge.
The one thing we wanted to definitely do in this first episode is end it with a very traditional Back to the Future Cars on Road action sequence.
and kind of
and-
frenetic things that could never physically
Happen.
happen like that.
Doc has really good balance.
Yes.
Yes.
He's a remarkably spry
Yeah, the
nonagenarian.
human bridge is like one of those ideas that's, an easy concept that is not easy in execution.
And we were,
Coming up on
our
our first use of the manure gag.
yeah.
Certainly not the last.
But we only did it. We only went there a couple times, so I
Felt
think
like we did it enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
And
I'm so glad
know, I
we didn't
steal
have
the
them
shot
in
from
there.
for a long time, we thought about going all Spielberg there and avoided doing that. Yes.
Did you know that would happen?
I had a suspicion. I never.
Doc always kind of knew that thing would explode because a lot of his stuff explodes. And then it's the let's get the heck out of here before we do something
and
really
forget
wrong.
about the dog.
Forget about the dog.
For the first time, not the last time.
He's not in the pound, is he?
See, Doc remembers.
No.
Yeah.
I think we've got bigger problems right now.
And then classic Back to the Future problem number 1.
Look at that font.
Yeah. To be continued. Join us again on the second episode of Back to the Future, coming real soon.